Dreaming of a rewarding career in management? Watch this video till the end to discover why life at IIM Bangalore is a life changing experience and enables you to unlock a world of opportunities.
The first day, okay, so I was a part of the 21 to 23 batch, so I graduated in March this year. Technically, my first day was online because the first 20 to 25 working days of my campus life of my MBA were online, which we joined from home. But I would rather start my first day on campus. So we were called on around after 20-25 days, we were called on to campus. And yes, first day, yeah, there's the big logo, there's the building that you've been dreaming about all your life. So a lot of uh, COVID protocols, but also a lot of pictures. You could see everybody walking in with their parents, a lot of emotions. Everybody was very excited and very proud. Once you complete all the formalities, the basic ones on the main gate. We went around. We were quarantined for 14 days, but for a normal batch, for our junior batch, it was a completely different experience. So you come onto campus, you have a orientation session. Our director sir speaks in that session. The PGP chairperson speaks, and they kind of welcome you to the course. They give you a brief overview of the campus, and obviously they introduce you to all the helpline, all the staff and administration, and the student bodies that are there for your help and assistance. And obviously, one of the most exciting moments is when you get allotted your hostel rooms. So there are, I think, PQR hostel blocks still are. So that's quite a lot of hostel blocks. So it's a lottery system on which hostel block and which room and which floor do you get. That is typically your beginning of your IIMB journey because your first friends would be your wingmates and your neighbors and everybody you see around you. So overall, it's a very enticing experience. But yes, a lot of I would say excitement as well as anxiety on the first day. But yes, yeah, a lot of happy faces, a lot of new faces on campus. The campus is decorated. There's a good vibe and feel of new people coming in. And yes, all the seniors are there to help you out. You'll have student representatives, bodies, the admin staff, teachers, faculty. So it's an inclusive environment. And yes, that's mostly of what I remember. For any CAT aspirant, mostly your first list of dream colleges starts with ABC, right? So that was pretty much for me as well. I graduated in 2019 and I was working in Gurgaon at a backend consulting firm. And at that time, I decided that yes, I want to do CAT and I want to do an MBA so that I have that qualification to get into a better role and progress my career. So essentially, for me, CAT prep looked like mostly slogging on weekends because weekdays were office. So, but COVID definitely did help. There was work from home, so I could have the comfort of my home, my mom taking care of all the needs, and then I could study better. That is a bit more difficult with going to office every day, but again, for the people who kind of have their mind to it, definitely that happens. CAT was again the in 2021 when I joined. The previous year was 2020, the CAT that I gave, and that was the first time the pattern changed from 3 hour to 2 hour. So that was again a big surprise for all of us. And there was a slight bit of adjustment, slight bit of anxiety on what to expect because it's a new pattern, it's a new CAT 2 hour exam. We have no idea what the cutoff is going to look like. But the thing that I held on to was faith on your own ability and basically taking it one day at a time. So just went there, tried to solve as many questions as I could, did not think of any cutoff, did not think of how many questions are my target or my target score, because all those things kind of clutter your mind in the exam. So typically, just trying to get there, just solve it like a bunch of questions, not think about the outcome a lot. That kind of really helped me. Um, Fortunately, my quant section also went well, which was my weakest section, but ultimately turned out to be my strongest in the exam. So obviously, don't think of anything as your weakness because on the exam day, that might be the push you need, that section. So yeah, all of those went probably in my favor, and then I scored a good percentile and got a call from IIM Bangalore. Again, our interviews were online, and our written ability test was also online. IIM Bangalore does not conduct a GD, so the VAT was a really political topic. It was something around dissent and how does it define in the modern day democracy. So it was a very thought-provoking topic. I really liked the topic. And considering I have some interest in politics and international relations, it played to my advantage. So I could write a good written ability test. Moving on to the PI, obviously we had to submit a statement of purpose, and there were questions around that. There were questions around my personality, around my previous work experience. They also do evaluate there. I had two professors and an alumni who were interviewing me. So it was an overall good interaction. It went on a long, around 40 minutes or so, 35 to 40 minutes, if I may say. And it was a very more like a interaction thing and not only question answer. They were kind of cross questioning me on every two three statements that I was making. It started with and when they started with asking me where am I joining from, and I just said Gurgaon from the top of my head, and they just asked, is it Gurugram and or Gurgaon, and then we started the conversation from there. Also touched up my hobbies and some of my achievements in college, in my undergrad college. So I was elected president of a society. So they asked me why people voted for me and those kind of questions. What am I? A different way of asking my strengths or my attributes that other people see in me. So those kind of behavioral questions were also there, and some things around international relations because I had already expressed interest in that domain in my SOP. So something related to refugees and Rohingya crisis happening in Myanmar. So we had a good, I had knowledge of the topic, so we kind of had a good discussion on that as well. So overall, kind of things fell into place, and yes, I got the offer. That is kind of the story. I was in a position where B was my best call. So by default, I chose B because that was a clear choice for me. But I had a lot of friends who did choose Ahmedabad or Bangalore basis their kind of preference. So typically, IIM Bangalore gives you a bit more weightage on work experience, right? So the average work experience of the batch is slightly higher than an Ahmedabad or a Calcutta. So that kind of gives you the leverage in terms of if you are a person or if you are coming from a professional background, people tend to choose IIM Bangalore. The study pattern or the academic pattern is also quite different from Ahmedabad and Calcutta. So that is also a reason why people who have all three calls and all three converts. They also kind of choose IIM Bangalore. So that kind of happens basis individual preference, but there are things that are different, and time permitting and basis our agenda by I can discuss more things about the campus that kind of make it special. I did not complete the entire quant syllabus, but that was completely fine. I knew that whatever I had done and whatever areas I had prepared well, I would be would be answering. And if it's difficult for me, it's going to be difficult for everybody. So that is the mindset that I went in with. Again, it might be very different for you. You have to figure out what works out for you, what you have been doing since a very young age, from school, from college, and kind of take it like any other exam. Don't take too much pressure on yourself that it's 1 year and it's one exam, because there are other exams. I knew that I had that coming in a month, right? So that's fine. You don't need to take on that pressure, and that kind of works for me. For some people, pressure might play a positive role. So again, that depends. You don't know what to do, and then there are these things, these rumors going around that in a B school you can only master two out of three S's. So basically, sleep, studies, and social life. But if I look back 2 years, I don't think I missed out on sleep that much, and I definitely excelled at the other two. So, I mean, there is a balance that exists out there. You just need to go out and find it for yourself, right? For me, let's say a 7 hour sleep or an 8 hour sleep, it's more than enough. But for somebody else, let's say even a 5 hour sleep is more than enough, right? So they kind of carve out more time in their 24 hours. So that completely depends on the individual. But overall, in terms of the campus life and in terms of this popular saying, I personally do not agree to it. And I would definitely say it to everybody, to my juniors, to my batchmates, and I've discussed it with them that managing all three and striking a balance is actually possible, and especially at IIM Bangalore. Why I do say that? there are a couple of things that kind of make IIM Bangalore very different from any other B school, even Ahmedabad, right? So typically in your first year, first two semesters, and even in the third trimester, uh, depends on your electives, but let's keep that aside. For the first two semesters, you only have your working days, as in your classes are only there Monday to Thursday. So you get a good Friday, Saturday, Sunday, a 3 day long break where you can do your extracurriculars, where you can do your sports, where you can do all your projects and everything else, right? So that kind of creates a balance. Now, if you are sleeping the entire Saturday, that's your problem. A lot of students also choose to do that. But in general, that is the place where you kind of strike that balance. And even on Monday to Thursdays, you're not engaged like 8 a.m. to 9 p.m., right? You get free around 5, 6 p.m. So there is the regular update, the basic things that our school teaches, our parents teach from an early age, that kind of revise or do your homework daily, or whatever is happening in class, listen to it so that you don't have to spend a lot of time studying it again. All of those things are applicable. And once you check all of that, you are a disciplined and a regular kid. It's very easy to manage studies. It's comparatively easy to manage studies. I won't say very easy, but yeah, academics is definitely manageable. And once your academics is managed, everything else falls into place. You can enjoy with your friends. You can have a social life. On weekends, you'll have parties. You'll have get-togethers. You'll have a lot of group meets, project meets. You'll have time for those, and then a lot of sports and other events are also happening. That's a question that I get very often from all the aspirants and juniors and everybody, right? Because typically we consider specializing or putting our mind into one thing, right? We say that if you're doing a full-time job, do a full-time job. Why are you studying afterwards? Or how can you even study or manage both the things at once? But the art of multitasking is something that you are anyways going to learn once you enter a B school. And you will be having multiple things on your plate at once, and you need to prioritize, and you need to make sure you complete all of them before a given deadline. So if you think it's not manageable, you ultimately are targeting a goal where you have to do it anyways. So I say that multitasking or preparing for your CAT exam while doing a UG course or while doing a full-time job is actually preparing you for that mindset. That will help you navigate your own B-school life better. Because what needs to be there in a person who's doing both at a time, right? Uh, a certain sense of discipline, definitely. There will be some days which are very hectic at office, and I used to come back and sleep, let's say, and no study happened. That's fine. But other days, there is a sense of discipline that if I've reached home before a certain deadline, before 9 p.m., 8 p.m., 7 p.m., whatever, I will study for these many hours, right? I'll chill for a bit. I'll have dinner, watch a movie, or not a movie, watch a TV show, and then kind of have 2 hours dedicated for my study. Or maybe targets in terms of I will give at least two sectionals of quant and two sectionals of LRDI every week between Monday to Friday after office hours. So those kind of targets help me a lot. And on weekends, mostly, it was the revision and analysis and the mistakes that I'd done over the week in terms of various sections that I gave. And obviously, one full mock and one full analysis of that. And in addition to that, if there are any other new concepts for next week that I wanted to brush up on or revise on. So that's how I segregated it. It's a 15 credit semester. So every year you have 3 semesters. So in 2 years you have 6 semesters in total. And your first two semesters are common in terms of everybody studies the same subjects. From the third semester onwards, you get introduced to electives. That is again one of the specialities of IIM Bangalore, because in the first year, which is your third semester, you get to choose two electives out of 6 subjects. Right. Every other B school only introduces you to electives after your first year. So that is an additional flexibility that IIM Bangalore gives. That's point number one. Secondly, in terms of ACADS, let's say comparing it to Ahmedabad, they kind of have a lot of subjects in a term. But for IIM Bangalore students, your subjects in a term is limited to a maximum of 6. So you won't have more than 6 subjects, whereas some B schools might have up to even 10 to 12 subjects. So that way, the academic workload is better in terms of the number of subjects. But then, obviously, in each subject, you are going into more depth, and that ways your analysis and your understanding of that subject is much more. Coming from a commerce background definitely helped me because first couple of terms you have basic accounting, basic marketing, basic finance, all of these courses, which somewhat are similar to what we have studied in commerce over 11, 12, and in the 3 years of BCom. So that kind of helped me a bit. I did not have to do anything from the very scratch, but a lot of engineers and a lot of my classmates had to do it from scratch. So a bit more of an extra effort upfront if you are not from a commerce background. That's also there. But again, if you have a basic understanding of how the economy works and a basic understanding of business and you're up to date with business news, that really helps you in class because the teaching methodology of a lot of professors, and these are the top professors in the country in their respective areas, uh, are a case pedagogy where they kind of write their own cases or they teach cases from HBR and NCR and all of the big journals. And the second thing is they also discuss a lot of live examples from day-to-day news and what's happening. So if you're doing an accounting course, we would probably be discussing the financial statements of a company like HUL, right? Or any other company that's been in the news recently. And why is such news important and what impact does it have on the share price? Simple things. So being up to date on what's happening in the business world kind of helps you a lot in understanding and participating in the class as well. Because as you might know, all of the B schools also have class participation marks. So you have to participate in the class, be engaged with the professors, answer questions, ask questions, and all of those add to your grade. So it's a very inclusive and very interactional mode of learning. And yes, some sort of preparation is also required in a lot of the strategy courses specifically, and a lot of other courses as well, where you have to read cases. These are 20-page cases, and you have to kind of develop an understanding about the company and then go to the class where it's going to be discussed, right? So a lot of preparation is also required, but you get used to it and then you start enjoying it. And one of the major life hacks that I discovered at IIM Bangalore in the first 6 months were that we used to read cases together, like two, three people, and kind of discuss it in quick 15 minutes before going to class so that everybody understands what the case is. And even if I, let's say, missed out on a point or if I'm not able to read the last 3 pages, then my friend is going to explain what's there. And I kind of have a basic idea to get the class started.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel.